Hey YouTube, it's Terry again. I'm here to talk about Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets as a continuation of that movie book comparison series. Personally, Chamber of Secrets is not my favorite book in the Harry Potter series, just because it's definitely more focused on the school and all the problems that come with being in a magical school, as opposed to the action and Harry and Ron growing. They grow kind of near the end, but most of it's like, oh, everyone hates me and all the usual stuff teenagers go through in a regular school, much less a magic school. This week I'm going to do exactly like I did last week, go over the cast and go over the plots and how they're kind of different between the two. This time the cast will not take as long, because I'm not going over every single character. I'm just going over characters that become more important as the series go on, or characters where they changed, where the actor changed. First, Dobby, voiced by Toby Jones. I liked it, I guess. I mean, Dobby was not my favorite CGI character in the Harry Potter trilogy, but it was good. He did what he was supposed to do. He is the fawning, overly exuberant Dobby that we all love. Then there's Kenneth Branagh as Lockhart, and again, I have my book with all of my notes, which is what I'm looking down for. Who played Lockhart. I thought he was a really good Lockhart. That's kind of what I had envisioned in my head, a blonde dunce who didn't know what the heck he was doing, but still looked good doing it. And Kenneth was definitely a good-looking man. Then, for the first time, we see Miriam Margolyes, who plays Sprout, in an important role, I guess. She was definitely very important in this movie because she provided the cure for everyone who was dying from the basilisk. Well, petrified from the basilisk. They weren't dying, per se. But she's played Sprout perfectly. She was short, lovable, and she was Sprout. Then we have Gemma Padley playing Penelope Clearwater, and really the only thing that made her important is she got petrified, and she is Percy's girlfriend. That's really all we need to know about her. Hugh Mitchell played Colin Creevey. He was short, he was annoying, and he loved Harry. Did his job. Christian Coulson played Tom Marvolo Riddle, everyone's favorite teenage version of Voldemort. And I thought he did really good. He looked like Tom Riddle. He had that nice Slytherin smirk, the nice long drawl of, I'm evil, but no one knows I'm evil, because I'm good, except for when I'm evil. So, he did really good at that. And then Robert Hardy played Fudge. He looked like Fudge. He looked like an idiot. He looked like an imbecile. He did what he was supposed to do as Fudge. And now on to the plot twist. How, they were different. The first one is, the big one that I thought is, the Masons in the book leave the Dursley house because of the owl that brings the mail saying Harry has been breached for underage. Not because Dobby dropped the pudding like they did in the movie. And again, I know that's not a big deal to most fans, but that is something I think is interesting that they didn't include, because that's kind of like, okay, floating pudding, that can be explained with robes and my nephew being, having issues, but the owl, a little hard to explain. Well, you just lost that in the movie. Dobby, does not make sound when he appears and disappears in the books. In the movies, he does. That's a problem with me. Just because the house elves are supposed to be sneaky and quiet, so no one knows they're there. And then they have Dobby, the main house elf, being loud and obnoxious, and I didn't really like that. Another thing is, the Weasleys do not rescue Harry the same way in the book, in the movie as they did. In the book, we see how crafty the Weasley twins are, Fred and George, because they go and they pick the locks of Harry's door and cupboard area. Where in the movie, he just kind of dives into the car, and that's it. So I didn't really like that. It doesn't show how amazing the Weasley twins are and how into both cultures they are, like the book does. And also with the Weasley is there's no denoming of the garden in the movie. And I know it's like, oh, that's pointless. That's not a big deal. No one cares. But it shows how magical Weasley are and how different it is at the Weasley household and at Harry's house. So it shows different. In the book, Mr. Weasley repairs Harry's glasses. Well, in the movie, Hermione does. Technically, Hermione should not be able to without underage magic, but most people know that in busy areas like Diagon Alley, doesn't really matter. But again, I think the reason the movie did it the way they did it is because they want Hermione to seem like the smart intellectual friend, and not Mr. Weasley being the kind, caring father. Because Mr. Weasley isn't emphasized in the movie, which leads to there was no fight between Malfoy and Weasleys like there was in the books. The men didn't jump at each other and go at it and all that fun stuff, which I think is really important to distract from Mr. Weasley putting the diary in Ginny's stack of books that Harry gave her in the book. Did not happen like that in the movie. Again, I think that it kind of glosses over, oh, it just randomly happened to fall in. While in the book it was definitely explained, like there was the fight, and Harry dumping the books in his cauldron, which gave him excuse to do stuff. Like, gave Lucius a way to put the diary in and all that they kind of skipped out on in the movies. Another thing that was different is when they went and flew the car. In the book, it was not that exciting, but again, it's a movie. You want to see action and them almost dying and all that, so that kind of makes sense. But with the howler that comes after it, in the book, it very clearly says it bursts into flames after. It didn't do that in the movie. I thought that would have been a cool effect they could have added. They got the classes wrong in the movie. In the book, it was herbology with the Hufflepuffs, not Slytherin. And it was Defense Against the Dark Arts with Slytherin, and they just had them both in there. And that's just so they wouldn't have to hire so many extras and all this other stuff to help cut down on costs, which I completely understand. In the book, they explain what a mudblood is. And the movie kind of glosses over it. Hermione just kind of knows what it is, which would have said she's experienced before. However, in the book, with her not knowing what it is, I feel like that gives her... I think that feels like it gives her and Ron more depth, because it shows Hermione doesn't know everything, and Ron, being a pureblood and growing up in the Wizarding world, will know stuff Hermione doesn't. I think that just gives Ron more smarts that he actually does have, that in the movie we didn't really see. He was just, he's the idiot sidekick that's like, let's do this, this, and this. And in the book it shows, hey, as a pureblood, as a wizard, I will know more than the other two. They don't talk about Filch being a squid, which I feel is very important, because he cares for that shows how much he loves the castle. They stay there and he cares for it every single day without magic, and I just feel like that shows his dedication. Well, that the movie kind of glosses over. Ron in the book recognizes the name Tom Marvolo Riddle from when they were doing the detention in the trophy room for the vomiting of slugs, because he cleaned it so many times because he kept vomiting slugs. And in the movie, it was just, they didn't ever know who it was. And I feel like, again, this kind of glosses over the fact Ron is smart, Ron is observant, and it's just something the book kind of puts in there that we don't really notice, that the movie just kind of skipped over. The Rogue Bludger was not as exciting in the book as it was the movie, because the entire time Draco was mocking Harry and making fun of Harry instead of looking for the snitch. And in the movie, it was the giant chase with the Bludger coming after them, and that didn't really happen. The Quidditch game was very boring, which is why they made it more exciting in the movie. I understand that, I respect that, but still, it is a difference that we don't have in the others. Another one is in the book, the Polyjuice Potion changes colors as you add hair. On the movie, it still looks like crap. In the book, it changes to the color of boogers or the color of whatever. And it just shows that everyone is different. And that everyone has a different personality and a different taste. That, again, it becomes a lot more important in the 7th book, and I'll get to that then. But it is something that becomes important and that I felt like they should have done. So in the 7th book, when it comes up, it would actually be like, oh, we have to do this, and it would show kind of a lot about Harry. Again, there's no ghost. Again, if you're not counting first, but in the 2nd book, they go to Professor Binns, the history teacher, for information of the Chamber of Secrets, and they go to all the other ghosts. Like, hey, what's going on? Like, they don't even include that. They go to McGonagall, and they have it explained to McGonagall. At least in History of Magic, it makes sense for them to be asking that. But not in Transfiguration. It's a completely different subject. So I felt like that would have been something that's like, hey, the students are actually showing intelligence. Let's ask someone who might have been there. Again, Professor Binns wasn't there, but still, he would know about it because he is the history teacher. So I felt like that was just a characterization chance and all that they missed when they swapped it to McGonagall, because it's like, oh, let's just ask the Gryffindor head of house, because we're Gryffindors and we have to, and she knows everything. So like, oh, let's be intelligent students and ask a ghost. And I just felt like that's something they really kind of skipped over and glossed over that I didn't really like. And now for the Chamber of Secrets, what the entire movie is about. It wasn't that exciting. The fight with the Basilisk was not that exciting in the book. He fought the Basilisk, he got stabbed, Tom Marvolo Riddle sees him get healed, and then he stabs the diary. That didn't happen. The fight with the Basilisk is really, really quick in the book. He runs her a little bit, he tries to dodge, she tries to speak the parcels on, and then almost immediately Fawkes comes, delivers the sword, and Harry does what Harry does, and it's all over. He gets bitten. Tom Marvolo Riddle gloats. He sees the Phoenix heal him. He rushes away. It's too late. Then the diary is stabbed. And in the movie, there's this giant fight scene with the Basilisk lunging and trying to get a hold of Harry, and Harry not responding well, and it's a big fight, which I understand why they put that in there. However, like with the final battle, which I will complain about later, don't make something more exciting than it is. And I know, oh, it's a movie. I mean, the snake looks scary enough. Like, if that was lunging at me in the movie, and I would be so scared. And like, but I feel like that's the deal. That's what makes it so potent in the book, is that shows how Harry is, how good Harry is he's not like, oh, let me try to run from the snake, because that always works. No, he tries to stand his ground. He moves when he has to. He conserves it, and that shows how intelligent Harry is, and also what a great fighter he is. He knows how to fight from Dudley. He knows, hey, you let them tire out, and then you attack, or then you run away. You don't automatically run away and oh my gosh, they're gonna meet. No, you try to dodge, and you try to do everything. And then having Tom dies before he knows Harry is gonna make it, I just felt like should have kept it in order, because that speech with Tom gloating like, oh, the Red Harry Potter's gonna watch me achieve corporal form before he finally dies. That you don't have that type of thing. You don't have the mad panic of, oh my gosh, I gotta stop Fawkes from crying. It's not the same as it was in the book. But anyway, that is all I have on this. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way through this about almost 15-minute video. I hope y'all enjoy it. Please tell me if you agree or disagree with what I said with the movie. Again, I preferred the book with this one, like with Sorcerer's Stone, than I did the movie, just because the book has so much more detail. And a lot of the stuff that I thought was important that should have been in the movie wasn't. But y'all might have a different reason, so let me know. And I hope y'all enjoy this movie, and can't wait to see the next installment.